group, but a diverse collection of nations, each with their own unique culture, language, and way of life. From the Haida of the West Coast to the Mi'kmaq of the East, these societies flourished, living in harmony with the land, season after season, century after century. Their deep connection to the land was not merely a matter of survival, but a profound spiritual bond that informed their worldview and way of life. They understood the rhythms of the earth, the patterns of the animals, and the secrets of the plants, knowledge that was passed down through generations, shaping their traditions and cultures. These indigenous societies were complex, with sophisticated political systems, trade networks, and social structures. Their art, stories, and ceremonies continue to resonate, leaving a lasting impact on Canada's cultural identity. Their contribution to the nation's history is not just a tale from the past, but a living, breathing part of Canada's present and future. The legacy of these early inhabitants remains ingrained in Canada's cultural fabric, paving the way for the chapters to come. Their resilience and spirit are a testament to the enduring power of Indigenous heritage, a foundation upon which the rest of Canada's rich history is built. In the 15th century, the course of Canada's history changed dramatically with the arrival of European explorers. A thirst for new lands and trading opportunities ignited a wave of exploration, with brave adventurers venturing into the unknown. Two such explorers, Jacques Cartier and Samuel de Champlain, made significant contributions to the European understanding of Canada. Jacques Cartier, a Frenchman, is often credited as the first European to navigate the St. Lawrence River, laying claim to the region for France. His voyages not only provided detailed accounts of the land and people, but also introduced Europeans to a valuable resource, the beaver fur, which was in high demand for hat making in Europe. Just a few decades later, Samuel de Champlain, also from France, followed suit. Known as the father of New France, Champlain founded Quebec City, one of the oldest cities in North America. His detailed maps and relations with indigenous peoples laid the groundwork for a thriving French colony. But it wasn't just about exploration. The fur trade became a lucrative business, shaping Canada's economy and society. Europeans forged alliances with indigenous peoples, who were vital partners in this trade. These alliances, however, were often fraught with tension and conflict. This era of exploration and trade set the stage for the next phase of Canada's history, colonial conflicts. As European powers vied for control over North America, Canada became a battleground. The heart of these colonial conflicts was the 7 Years' War, a global confrontation involving major European powers. It was a war that forever altered the course of history. On one side, we had the French, allied with various indigenous nations, holding a significant portion of North American territories. On the other side stood the British, determined to expand their colonial reach. A series of battles ensued, with both sides struggling to assert their dominance over the vast, resource-rich lands of Canada. The war reached its climax with the Battle of the Plains of Abraham, a pivotal moment that saw British forces emerge victorious. This victory marked a turning point in Canada's history, setting the stage for the end of French colonial rule. In 1763, the Treaty of Paris was signed, signifying the end of the 7 Years' War. As part of the agreement, France ceded most of its North American territories to Britain. This shift in power didn't just redraw the map, it reshaped the cultural fabric of Canada. The British influence brought a new language and a new administration, but also sowed the seeds of Canada's multicultural identity. French-speaking communities endured, their culture and language woven into the nation's tapestry alongside indigenous traditions and British influences. With the Treaty of Paris, a new chapter began in Canada's history, the era of Confederation. In 1867, a pivotal moment arrived in Canada's history, the birth of the Dominion of Canada. This significant milestone was achieved through the British North America Act, a vital piece of legislation that united 3 provinces, Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick, along with Nova Scotia, under a single federation. The Act created Canada's federal system, dividing power between the central government and the provinces. This was a bold experiment in nation-building, and it required visionary leadership. One such leader was Sir John A. Macdonald, Canada's first Prime Minister. A charismatic and shrewd politician, Macdonald's contributions were instrumental in shaping the new nation. Yet, the Confederation was not just about political union, it was also about physically connecting the vast Canadian landscapes. This vision culminated with the completion of the Transcontinental Railway in 1885. This colossal engineering feat, stretching from the Atlantic to the Pacific, was more than a transportation link. It symbolized the unity and ambition of a young nation, knitting together disparate regions into one cohesive whole. With Confederation, Canada began to evolve into the nation we know today. The seeds sown during this time have grown into a country admired for its diversity, stability, and commitment to democratic values. As we delve deeper into Canada's history, let's remember that the nation's foundations were laid during this transformative period of Confederation. In the first half of the 20th century, Canada stepped onto the global stage through its involvement in the World Wars. The nation, once a dominion under the British Empire, stood tall and firm in the face of global adversity. During the First World War, Canada played a significant role, with over 600,000 Canadians enlisted in the armed forces. Their bravery and courage in battles such as Vimy Ridge and Passchendaele remain etched in history. The war was a crucible, forging Canada's national identity and asserting its autonomy on the international stage. The Second World War saw Canada's involvement expand even further. More than 1 million Canadians and Newfoundlanders served in the military, contributing significantly to the Allied victory. Canada's major role in the liberation of the Netherlands cemented its reputation as a compassionate and committed ally. But Canada's contributions were not only on the battlefield. Back home, women took over roles in factories and farms, propelling social change. Canada also became a refuge for those displaced by the war, opening its doors to war brides and refugees, demonstrating its commitment to humanitarian aid. Canada's role in the World Wars marked a turning point in its history, leading to significant social and economic changes. These events underscored Canada's global responsibility and set the stage for its future role as a champion of peace and diversity. Post-World War II, Canada underwent a transformative shift. The nation entered a period of profound social and economic evolution, marked by significant healthcare reforms, increased immigration, and the development of multicultural policies. In the aftermath of the war, Canada took steps to ensure the well-being of its citizens. A universal healthcare system was established, providing free health services to every Canadian. This monumental reform was more than a policy change. It was a commitment to human dignity and equality. Simultaneously, Canada opened its doors to a broader range of immigrants. The country's demographic landscape began to change, becoming more diverse, more vibrant. This influx of new cultures, traditions, and ideas enriched Canadian society and stimulated economic growth. In response to this diversity, Canada introduced multicultural policies. These policies recognized and protected the cultural heritage of all Canadians while promoting mutual respect and understanding. It was a bold move that celebrated diversity as a strength rather than a challenge. In the 1970s, Canada took one more significant step. It established bilingualism and multiculturalism as official policies. This was a significant move that acknowledged the importance of French and English-speaking communities as well as the diverse cultures that make up the Canadian mosaic. These changes have shaped the modern Canada we know today, but the nation's journey doesn't end here. As we move forward, Canada continues to evolve, driven by its commitment to diversity, equality, and the well-being of all its citizens. In recent decades, Canada has faced new challenges related to Indigenous rights and environmental issues. The nation's path forward is marked by a deep commitment to reconciliation with its Indigenous peoples. This process is not just about recognizing past wrongs, but also about making tangible strides towards equality and inclusion. The acknowledgement of indigenous sovereignty, land rights, and cultural heritage are all integral parts of this journey. Furthermore, Canada is increasingly focusing on sustainable practices. The nation understands that its bountiful natural beauty is not just a treasure to behold, but a responsibility to protect. From the breathtaking peaks of the Rockies to the sprawling boreal forests, from the rugged Atlantic coastline to the tranquil beauty of the Arctic tundra, each landscape holds a unique place in Canada's environmental narrative. The country's dedication to environmental stewardship has led to the implementation of innovative policies and initiatives aimed at conserving these precious ecosystems. This commitment extends beyond borders, with Canada actively participating in global environmental efforts. As we draw our journey to a close, we see a Canada that is continuously evolving, always striving to uphold its values of unity, diversity, and resilience. This is a nation that respects its past, acknowledges its mistakes, and moves forward with an unwavering commitment to a better future for all its inhabitants.